Okay, great. Right. お願いします。
お願いします。
Okay, good. We'll just loosen up a little bit. Let's find a sort of it. And slowly settle into the ground. Good. Bowing front and back. Yeah, taking the arms to the sides. And taking into rotation, releasing the arms to the hips. Get taken into an open closing movement. Good. And just moving freely, changing the direction. Super. Great. And coming back to the center, just raising up. Nice deep breath in. Hinging down with the breath out. reaches the ground. And coiling it through the spine. Good. And the next week, just taking it more to a release down. So think about the same reach up. And then the release, just dropping through the spine, release it, release the arms, head and face. And you come up, breathe in. Then release. And just go at your own speed with it, your own time. That's why I'm just taking the body down. Take a couple of breaths down. Really release out the shoulders, the head, the neck. Very slight bend in the knee. And nice and slowly, just tracing back up, all the way up. And just take it just to an arm swing, just releasing them out. Let the arms come up over the shoulder. Taking the elbow, nice fully bent. Release it down. And open across the front. And just first really focus on crossing the front. A little bit of a shoulder tap to come over. Meeting the arms, cross over. And then just emphasizing a little bit more the opening chest, open at the back. And just play with a little bit diagonal directions as well. Middle, sometimes switch to the diagonal. Good. Just rolling out the shoulders, keeping the arm heavy. Release into the hip. And starting to bring the elbow up, in circles. Good. Just rolling out the shoulders. And look into the front. And gently reaching up to the side. Turn them over, draw back, reach to the other side. We go like this, taking the elbows back. Good, and rolling the hips. And change. Bring the feet together, take it to circles. And the other way. Yeah, just open the feet up and taking it to a squat. Lengthening to the back. And just going a little bit deeper up and spread away. And just pressing the hands down, let the legs come out a little bit wider. A little bit of bend in the knee. Take the weight out of the hands, settle back into the feet. And just bring the body up. Tall, sit into the legs. And then just taking them side to side. Taking the heel, taking the toes up towards the side. You bring the hands back down, lengthen out the legs a little bit more, take most of the bend out of the knee. And then just reach in with the hands, leg to leg, ankle to ankle. And then just reach across with one arm, the other arm, just reach it to the ceiling, across the back. Reaching both ankles, one in each hand. Let the head start to go towards the ground. Take a couple of deep breaths. If it feels comfortable, just take the hands off the ankles, bring them around the back, and reach them up over the top of the head. Release open the shoulders a little bit. And release the hands, walk them out, keep the hips where they are, just lengthen out through the shoulders. And a couple of big, deep breaths in and out. Good. Take the weight into the hands, bring the legs together at the back, tread out with the heels. And just bringing the knees down to the ground and lengthening out to the back. Don't have to touch the ground, just think about bending, extending the knees, legs. Keep the pressure in the hands even. And just lengthen out, hold. Play a little bit of shifting the weight in the hands, side to side. Open up the sides of the body. Great. Walk the hands and feet together. Take it into a forward fold. And nice and slowly bending the knees, drawing up to standing. Great. Make sure I let the wrist a little bit. Oh. And the other way. Yeah, squeezing the palms together. Couple of seconds, hold, release. Shooting out the fingertips, just first a couple nice and slow. Spread the fingers away from each other. And a little bit faster. And just start to take the arms a bit close to the body, elbows tucked into the body, and think about flicking the fingers down. Straighten the arms out, make a nice tight fist, take the bend out of the elbow, make the fist as strong as you can. And just play there just with rotating through the arm, keeping again the wrist, keep the arm straight, lengthened. Keep the fist nice and tight all the time. If you feel it loosening, just tighten it a little bit more each time. Take them out to the sides. Keep the fist strong. And keep the bend out of the elbow. And then just lower it to the top. Good. Keep the fist tight. Just roll out the arms, roll out the shoulders, roll out the elbows. And all the time, just coming back to the fist. Keep it strong. Good. And just taking it to a subtle bounce and keep the fist tight. See if you can start to release the wrist, keep the fist strong. To really feel the weight of the hand. Releasing the elbows. Release the wrist. Let the weight really drain in now. So if you think about like kind of percussive movement down, and just let it settle a little bit. Again, just trying to keep the fist all the time strong. Good. And then just play with a subtle kind of winding motion. So thinking about the core, basically being able to roll, and just play with, it's a little bit like the forearms are kind of rolling over the top of each other, and rolling with them. In this case, I'm trying to stay within the body, so within the hips and the shoulders. I'm just going to play with rolling with the arms. That's good. And the movements in this case are really exploring, just kind of winding through the joint system. So especially now, focus on the wrist, focus on the elbow, focus on the shoulder, basically open and closing. And all the time trying to keep the fist strong. Good. So, good. And then just settling the fist down. Think about the last one's just basically activating the back. So nothing changes really in the arm. Keep a slight subtle bend in the arm. And then just think about engaging the back of the body. Back of the shoulders, also the whole back side of the legs as well. So think about kind of tightening into the ground a little bit. Also the back of the head's kind of included in it. So think about everything at the back of the body switching on. And then again, just play with a very subtle movement here. So nothing major in terms of movement, but just think about keeping the back engaged. Now, as you do it, think about reaching the hands away from the body, away from the center of the body. But think about the center, basically kind of squeezing the hands out away. Again, just keeping the fist as strong as you can. Last minute or so. Oh, squeezing out. Squeezing out. So great. And then nice and slowly, just start to release the thumb. Wiggle it out a little bit. Little finger. What's that one? First, index. Second, ow. Second, the best finger. Third, little, wiggle them all out. Play the piano a little bit. Great, shake them out at the top. Great, roll down, that's a little bit, slight incline of the body. Yeah, and kick out the legs a little bit. Great, planting the feet down, shake out the whole body. Okie doke. Good. We'll do a little bit of Joe again. So, good. Great. Good. We'll just go to a little bit of ski work. So just start with left side kamae, just working ski in. Nice strong kamae. Full strong finish into the ground. Run back. So nice clear movement in. Big arcing movement of the ski. Get the head in the time. Great. Good. And we'll switch over. Right foot forward. Resting onto the right side. Run back. Great, we'll take a little bit to front and back, working with 𝗧𝗥𝗔𝗞𝗜𝗠𝗠, switching over, really take your time again, really get it back into command, into the 𝗬𝗏. Settle each time with the 𝗬𝗏, roll to the back. Hold. Awesome. And then just take it into more of a kind of pulsing quality with it. So one thing with this is really let the bodies kind of travel with it. So you're going into this and then back. So the pulse that you kind of send out here, you take the body into that way. It's like you're kind of you're making a space in the front. If I do the other way, which is like I pulse and go forward, then the body's going to kind of get pulled into the next ski. So think about as you do this. So pulse in, let the body go back. Pulse in, let the body go back. Pulse in, let the body go back. Pulse, let the body go back. Pulse, body, pulse, body, pulse, body, pulse, body, something like that. Yeah, you can do this quite slow, but just think about feeding off that pulse, the impulse of the ski. It's really a kind of bodywork exercise. That's good, great. That's it. Nice. That's good. And then in this one, taking it to an 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝑗. So again, use that impulse forward, back. Pause at that point, and then just roll the body back. Pulse in, pulse to the back, change position. Pulse in, pulse to the back to position. Back, bum, in to the back, change. Okay, good. Oh. Good. And then the next one is take the impulse from the 𝘭𝘪𝘨𝑔𝑖, from the 𝑅𝑒𝑠𝑔𝑖. Think about that impulse, ooh, and don't use yourself intention to come back. 1, 2, use it to come back. 1, 2, use it to come back. There we go. Nice. Hold. Great. We'll just play one which is to the front. Again, start with a kind of basic form for it. So you start with a ski to the front, basic, and then you're going to switch all the sides, change the back end of the jo. And then from here, the top end is going to go forward, back into 𝑘𝑚𝑎𝑖. Just front, change everything. First in from the top, back into 𝑘𝑚𝑎𝑖. 𝘭𝑗𝑜-ski, 𝘭𝑑𝑎𝑛-ski, back into 𝑘𝑚𝑎𝑖. 𝘭𝑘𝑢-ski, 𝘭𝑑𝑎𝑛, and 𝑘𝑚𝑎𝑖. Oh. Hey. Oh. Oh. Shh. Okay. Oh. Good. Great. And then again, just think about an impulse for it. So you impulse in, impulse, draw back. Really important now with this one, really slow. Think about this hand as it goes through. It's very easy for the jo now to clip the head. Okay, so try not to add anything with the jo in terms of pushing it. Just think about feeding back with the hand. So the hand stay in contact all the time. Change, change all the time. That means I really know where the jo is in space. And I've got a little bit of control over it. If I lose the hand at this point, it's very easy to either lose the jo, clip yourself in the head. So very easily done. Try and avoid it, but taking out to this kind of impulse. 1, 2, and back. 1, 2, and back. Stop. Very good.
And the last couple of minutes here with this, just think about switching both. So you've got the change to the front that we've just done, this to this to this, and you've also got the change to the back, this to this to this. So just play with them a little bit, mixing both sides. And keep a kind of slow, sustained impulse through it. When you feel like you lose it, either go back to kind of basic form, pause, pause, or just kind of pull back out of it. And if you want to kind of keep training with that impulse, it's probably going to be a little bit kind of short bursts in a sense. 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. And then pull back out of it a little bit. Nice. Good. Hold. 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 Yeah. Great, and we'll just take it a little bit into the get answer. It's got a little bit different quality in terms of continuing it, but again, we'll just start with the basics. So working with the ski, draw into the back, and into the strike, and then just carefully coming back to kamae, mixing both sides, ski in, draw back, striking low, and drawing back. 4 movements, including the come back to kamae. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. It's just a really, this is not even a silly exercise, this is a really simple exercise, but I've got a door which one of these, I can't remember, what do you call them? It's one of these slidey doors. Slidey door, whatever. So think about this, it's like you can do 2 things with it. You can like open the door first and then step through, or you can just be a little bit more efficient with it, which is like open the door, step through in the same action. Right, so if you imagine you've got like a slidey door, or even like an automatic door, what I want to do is like time the opening of the door and step the body through at the same time. So it really becomes like the same thing, rather than I go like, open the door, step the body through. It becomes like 2 things. So just play, it's a really stupid exercise. It's a simple exercise, but it's a really kind of important one in a sense. Think about just open door, stepping through, and you do it both sides. But yeah, really simple, without the joke, just open the door, step through. And you need to do, the priority needs to be obviously you need to open the door. You can't not open the door and step through, you hit the glass. So you need to make the open door, but there's a kind of timing issue to it, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, very simple, but I want to be really direct in it. It's like how fast can I, or how much can I get the body just to work together and do one thing. And it's just really an issue of timing, making things happen all at the same time. That's it. Super easy. Easy peasy. Good. Good. And then change it. It's not a sliding door. It's a classic hinge door. So it's like you need to open it, and again the correct time. You need to open it enough that the body can kind of pass through at the same time. Okay. So again, if I get it wrong, you really get it wrong in this case. You hit the edge of the door. But I don't want to do it in the case where I open it again and then step through. But if you think about kind of pulling open the door, stepping through at the same time. Pulling open the door, stepping through at the sime time. It's kind of the action is the same thing. If you got it, yeah, if you got an actual door, just do it with the door right. I've actually got a door here. Now I've got a door here. Oh, it goes the wrong way. Damn. Needs to go the right way. That's it. Yeah. Open the door. Opening the door. Yeah, good. So the point of that is this. What I don't do is something in the arms, like open the door and then step through with the body. Yeah, you really want to do this as one thing. So if you think about driving it here, I'm going to open and step through with the body this way. So just play with it with the ski position. It's the same kind of sensation in the body. So this opens and the body just passes through it. But I don't want to do something now, especially in this case, with something like the arms go, the body waits, and then it pushes through at the end of it. Okay. So just think about one really unified action. Boom. Going through, and play with being a little bit kind of softer with the grip as well. So you actually don't need to do a lot in terms of this movement to motivate the gel. It'll just kind of go the same way with the door. You know, just kind of create a connection, open the body, and then that same action kind of stepping through with it.
Michael, if you do the exercise in Kihon, then do you open the door first and then step through it?
You can do, and it is in a way. There's nothing really wrong with that. And it's like, I mean, if you go to functionality, like opening the door this way and walking through is also functional. It's also that, but it's again, it's like a really basic. It is a really basic dong, dong. So in this case, you can do it in the basic in the sense of doing like this. But even then, in terms of the Kihon, I don't want to separate the arm work. The main part of that is like not to do something like where the body stays, the arms go, and then something happens. So even when physically I kind of stay on the spot, don't go through the door. The opening's really kind of driven, this kind of feeling, and then driving through it that way, something like that, in that kind of
sense. It's basically still your hip driving the movement instead of
exactly
the body. So
the main thing is to get away from the sense that the arms basically acting independently. So that if I get the sense that if the body's to kind of make a unified action, then something needs to kind of pass the whole body. And it's like for us, like if we do any kind of 𝘭𝘪𝘐𝑺 work, with the boom and passing through, it's all that kind of same stuff, or like 𝘵𝘊𝑘𝑦𝑜, it's all kind of the same. That same kind of same kind of theory in a sense. This kind of unified action really, and try to get away from like separated, isolated arm movements. Cool. That's it. No, that's the theory. Nice. Yes. Got it. Now, the actual really tricky part of this movement, if you've got something circular in a kind of direct movement. So the body, in this case, the core of the body is just kind of traveling in this way, and the arms are kind of creating this opening. Now, two things can happen. The direct motion forward can infect the arm work, in which case it looks something like this. The arms kind of just push out, or the circularity of the strike infects the body, something like this happening. The body starts to kind of roll around the central axis. So think about doing two things. It's really just one thing, but if you think about the central axis is just there to be an axis for the body, and then the whole arm structure, the whole 𝘭 structure can just release around it. But again, it means a little bit more like releasing. So if I'm too tight controlled, the tendency is to follow one of those aspects of the body. But if I think about I can actually do both, I can keep the core solid and I can find a kind of circularity to the arm structure. Again, it's stuff that you do all day if you think about kind of whatever you do all day. whatever you do, if you think about the central axis stays where it is, then you just kind of do things with the arms. And the more the central axis is actually centered, this balance, he actually uses it to find these kind of circular pathways through the body. And again, it's going to be something in the hip, it's going to be something in the shoulder, and its ability to mobilize. And I don't want to infect, I don't want to basically make a linear motion, too linear or circular, or something like that. You want something that's going to be both things at the same time, which that's the tricky part of this exercise. Yeah, good. Okay, good. So, yeah. And then going back to this kind of impulse idea, again, the quality in this one's a little bit different. So in terms of the ski work we did before, this kind of impulse, taking it, impulse back. In terms of the impulse through this, it's like a sustained impulse through. So in terms of the 𝘭𝘪𝘦𝘢𝘵 with this one, you've got this, and then you've got this going all the way through. Okay, so the strike is basically a follow through, boom, follows through, and then you just find the 𝘭𝘪𝘦 back with it. So the main one with this is not to lose the weight in the strike. So it's still a functional strike. It's connecting through, it's tracking through, and then it's coming back into 𝘭𝘪𝘦. So the assumption is that whatever I hit isn't solid. So it's not that the stick is kind of bouncing off. It's actually going to travel through it. So whether that will be the knee or whether it would be someone's jaw, I'm going to basically travel through it and make it move off that space. Because I'm kind of stealing that space from the whatever object I hit with it. Yes, that's it. Okay. Yeah, good. Just play with this. This is a bit tricky. If you've got anything you can kind of hit with it, I don't want to actually hit it, but I actually just want to make contact with it. This is just about the angle as you do it. So one of the things that tends to happen, again, it's from basic training. It's something like this. I stop and I bring the jaw back, something like this. So it becomes quite a linear motion, something like this, this. Yeah, and then I'll try and speed that up to something like this. Yeah, but actually, this is the wrong kind of path for the jaw. So if you think about actually striking through something, disconnecting through, it would travel through, and then I basically control the top end of the weapon back. So it's really one motion in terms of the strike through, flows through, and then this hand controls the weapon so it doesn't go to the face. Okay, so it's really in a sense of hitting the follow throughs here, and then you come back. And you could do that with the tip of the weapon. You could do it with this part of the weapon. But the key is that the trajectory of the strike in this case, it's not kind of boom, boom. It's really one thing as you go through, one thing as it goes through. And that's actually a really powerful strike if you kind of just let it go through. But the issue is kind of controlling it so that it doesn't become kind of too wild. But it's really allowing it to just kind of sweep through. Boom. Yeah. One weapon that's actually very useful for us to train at, we never do it and we shouldn't, but think about nunchucks with this, anything which requires a kind of whipping motion. So what we're very good at in terms of Aikido is kind of percussive work, and when it comes to kind of sweeping work or kind of whipping work, we tend to be not so good at it because the weapon actually doesn't help us so much with it. So, but if you think about a nunchuck, think about striking a follow through. Yes, it's got something which is really like a whipping quality for the body. Yeah, and it doesn't, I can't train nunchuck, like I can't, percussion, shit, and then you hit your hand with it. Yes, it's not a percussive movement, then it becomes really like a whipping kind of motion this way. It's got the same quality in the jaw work. Don't stay there. But think about really kind of whipping through it, so the sensation in the body then is to really flow through with it. But again, we're quite good at percussion stuff. Think about it's just an extension of that, the percussion continues. And it just all sweeps through this way. So it's got a little bit more kind of liveliness to it. But I need to add that because the 𝘭 really won't help me in this case. Chains, nunchucks, even things like resistance bands or something that you can just have a quality of whipping with. So it's got a different kind of quality of body work. That's yeah. So yeah, and actually, it's not really about arm work. It's actually about footwork in this case. So all the impulse stuff is actually really about the feet. It's like, how do I take the impulse here and send it back? How do I take then the impulse here and roll it back into the body? So it needs to be kind of sustained in the body. So watch if I do something like this. The tension goes all out. What I want to do in this case is something like this, and then come back into it this way. So in terms of the 𝘭 work, it really matters in this case what happens with the feet. Watch if I do something like yeah, the foot kind of does this, but I actually want to sustain that impulse in the ground. So something like this. Yeah, so that front foot just sustains the pressure here, and even if it moves back, it doesn't empty, but it doesn't empty back that way. Yeah, in which case I get a kind of whiplash in the body, and then this. But I actually want to just drive the whole body into the ground. So just play the last few with this one. Think about a little bit of a slower, denser, heavier. And you don't even have to move the feet to do this one. Awesome. But the feelings to be full, especially in that front leg. Feels it stays full. Feels it stays full. Ooh, okay. Yep. Nice. Good, and then just going back to that ski work as well, bring it in with the 𝘭𝘠𝘦𝘳 work. So think about the two slightly different qualities, but try and just bring them now together and bring in the 𝘭𝘠𝘦𝘳. Keep it slow, but then really go into the footwork. Let the body work, let the upper body go, do its thing. Really focusing on the lower body and then the ability to transmit weight to the ground in a two-way sense. Transmit weight. Let's take it wherever you like with this one. Mixing a little bit of ski work, a little bit of Shido, a little bit of 𝘭𝘪𝑗, a little bit of 𝘭𝘠𝘦𝘳. Nice. So great. Good. Nice. Yeah. Good. Great. Good. Great. Last minute, we'll just open up the body a little bit. Just take a nice wide breath. You're just going to take 1 foot forward with this one. Reach up to the top. Take a nice deep breath in. Take it as far over as comfortable. You can get all the way back to the hip, a good sign. Hold the breath a little bit when you get to that position, and then as you breathe out, bring the jaw back, bring the feet back together, and then go to the other side. Open the armpits. Open at the front of the body. Look up to the ceiling. First, a couple on each side. Last one on the side. Good. And then another one, just take the legs a little bit wider. You're going to have the jaw at the back, a little bit of a closer grip. You're going to hinge the hips down with this one, reach the hands up and over. And release out the shoulders. Again, hold the breath as you come down. Reach up, in this case, just add a little bit of a back bend and a little bit of a pressure down. So as you come back up to tall, vertical position, a little bit of pressure down, a little bit of a back bend, and then hinge the hips down, reach the jaw over. Drawing back up, a little bit of a back bend, a little bit of pressure down through the shoulders, through the hands. In this case, looking at the ground. Reaching up. Last one. And just bring the jaw back into the front of the body. Shake out the body a little bit. Release the shoulders, release the grip. Great. Good. We will bow up right there. Great. 𝘭𝘠𝘢 arigatou gozaimasu.
𝘭𝘠𝘢 arigatou gozaimasu.
Okie dokie. Thank you.